Hello, you guys. So, I wanted to discuss something that recently happened to me. I'm basically trying to have some peace right about now and ground my energy and pull myself out of this extremely deep pit that I've been experiencing since about December. And it has just recently really just become extremely unbearable. But I'm just grateful that a lot of the tools that I've gained over the years in strengthening my emotional sovereignty and emotional intelligence is what's getting me through this. And so, I'm just grateful for the fact that despite how painful what I go through is, I will always have these principles to ground me, and it's the reason why I'm still here. My mentality is the reason why I'm still here. So I just wanted to start this video off with that. So before I get into what the title of this is, I want to start off with a little background for those who don't know my background so well. I actually used to do spiritual consultations for people probably 2 summers ago. Maybe I'm really bad with dates. I think I was doing these consultations and making spiritual jewelry like crystal waist beads and giving consultations, doing energy readings, I guess you could call them, for women, and they were always 100% accurate. I still have all of my testimonials. I'm going to definitely look at you guys' comments. I see you guys are coming in. Hi, thank you so much for coming. I've had 100% energy readings, and people would tell me that they had no idea how I would know things about them. And these were people that I was meeting online. I didn't go look up their social media. I didn't go research information about them. And I would be giving full-on readings to these people. Sometimes I could just literally look at their default picture and get a whole download of information, and this is literally not even talking to anyone on the phone. So I realized that this was a little freaky. It was freaking me out, right? But I began. It started to become very normal for me to accept that I'm able, whether this was precognition or psychic ability, or I really didn't put a name to it. I really didn't want to become attached to it. So I just allowed myself to just be myself. And this kept happening. So I would meet strangers and just get whole downloads of information about them. This is not something I'm trying to do. It's not like I'm trying to pry into people's lives or business. It's like, I'd rather not know all that about you, right? But this kept happening, and so now it's pretty normal for me. And I noticed that it would freak people out, so it's something I just kind of kept to myself after a while. But lately, this, I guess, what you would call reading people's minds or being psychic, or whether it's precognition or whatever people want to call these extrasensory perception abilities that a lot of people have, has been picking up. It's like it's heightened, like ever since February. And I'm noticing that a lot of people are experiencing this too, and it's kind of freaking people out, and it's starting to freak me out. I had a mental breakdown a few days ago with what happened, with what I'm going to explain in a couple of minutes, because it's so, you feel crazy. You know what I mean? Well, not that you feel crazy, it's just like you have no logical explanation for what you're experiencing. And so a couple days ago, my friend, she has birds in her house. And I'm definitely gonna look at you guys' comments because I want to know what y'all have to say about this. So, but actually, before I even get into my communication with the birds, I want to talk about how my relationship with animals in the past has been really quick. Like, I'll take a minute to talk about that. I started noticing that, like, my relationship to animals was very strong, like, in a sense. So I remember I would meet people's animals for the first time and they would say things like, oh my God, like she never acts like that with people that just come to my house, or they would be like, well, I need to put my animal away because they don't really like, you know, strangers or whatever. And it's just like, they would always be like, oh my God, they don't act like that with everybody. Or I just always never felt afraid of animals, or just like scared of them. And one time I was walking in a park and I walked past someone who had, you know, those dogs that look like wolves? They're really white. They have blue eyes. I was walking past this man who had one of those. Is it a husky or Siberian husky? Something like that. And literally, I had the most intense psychic communication with this animal. He actually stopped walking and stopped the owner and was looking back at me like this. And I was looking back at the dog. So like our eyes locked and we just literally did like this. And the dog stopped walking and the owner stopped and was looking at me like, yo, what the fuck is going on? We just stood there and was staring at each other. Like, I felt like the dog was saying, I know you, like you're my family, or something crazy. Like, I felt like that was like an ancestor or somebody I knew. Like, I felt like I knew the dog's soul or something. It was the deepest, craziest thing. And the owner could not get his dog to move. Like, so then I walked up to the dog and I just said, hello, hey. And then the owner was just staring at me like, what the fuck? Like, he's never stopped and did this to, like, not to a complete stranger. And so I was walking off and the dog was walking off, but still kind of like hesitant to walk with the owner. And I was just like, what the fuck? So things like this kept happening. Over time, people would walk their dogs and their dogs would stop and come up to me. And the owner's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, she usually doesn't act like that. I'm so sorry. And I will just be like, it's fine, right? It's okay. But I've always felt a very deep connection with animals. And so what happened recently, which is the title of this video, is I had a very direct psychic communication and confirmation with these birds that my best friend owns. Yeah, it was a husky, Michelle. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to your comments in about 5 minutes. This video is not gonna be long. So I slept over my best friend's house and she has birds. She's had these birds probably for 2 years or maybe a little bit longer. And she lets them fly around in the room that they're located in. So, but they've never flown outside of the room in like 2 years. Okay, they've never attempted. They just stay in the room, even if the door is open. The window's open, the door can be open. They never fly anywhere outside of that bedroom. So in the morning time when I woke up, I was sleeping in their room because she let me sleep in the room where the birds was since I was staying over. So I get up and I'm feeling so much anxiety. Like I felt like I was in a jail cell or something. This is how I felt when I woke up, and I know what this was now. So the birds were extremely active. Like they were just like making a lot of noise. And I remember just sitting there and hearing them tell me they didn't want to be in that cage and that they were going to leave, that they were going to leave the room, that they were going to leave, right? And so now keep in mind, I'm sitting here like, okay, so birds are fucking talking to me now. I cannot explain to you what that sounds like. I can't explain to you what that sounds like, but I knew those birds was telling me that they were going to leave that room. We're going to leave today, and we don't want to be in here. And they were really angry. And I remember starting to feel really bad. And I remember telling them verbally, birds don't belong in cages, and I'm so sorry that you have to, I'm sorry, you know, and I had to leave the room at that point. So later on in the day, I didn't know that my friend had opened their cage, right? But she had opened their cage, and lo and behold, the entire cage, it's like 4 of them, all 4 of them in unison flew into the room that me and my friend was in. And in unison, all of them flew in there and started flying around the room. Then they flew out of the room into the kitchen, down the stairs. They flew up in the attic, like they were all over the apartment. And I was sitting there like about to have a mental breakdown, because I was like, oh my fucking God, I just got confirmation that I'm having telepathic communication with animals now. And so I had a mental breakdown because that was just too crazy for me to accept. Like, I've experienced a lot of crazy things, but this was like way too much for me to accept. And so I went through some things for like 2 days, and then today I looked up psychic communication with animals on YouTube. And I found that they do have animal psychics, and like I've kind of heard about things like this, but it's just like when something like this happens to you, it's so far outside of, it's crazy. It sounds, you know, like a little wacky, but I feel like this year a lot of people are, whatever gifts or talents you may have, are going to begin picking up steam. Your destiny is going to be revealed more to you now, and this is why so many people, including myself, are going through such deep, dark depressions, or you're going through the darkness, and it's going to feel very uncertain. It's going to feel very painful. Like, there are things that I'm having to deal with emotionally right now that feels impossible. Like, actually impossible to resolve. But at the end of the day, I know I have a destiny, and I know what's going to unfold for me is going to. I just have to find the wherewithal to hold on as long as I have air in my lungs. Do you understand? So I know things feel impossible right now. I know they do. But in all this darkness, things will be revealed to you. Like, I never would have thought, like, I just got used to being able to read people. Now this whole other component is being added. And here's the thing with how I actually feel about ESP in general, is that a lot of people have these abilities, and yes, they can be honed, but it's not something that should be, it's not something that's reliable all the time, and it's not something that you can control all the time. So even if you can control it, it's not reliable all the time. One of my friends on YouTube made a video about this. So it's not that, you know, these powers aren't real. It's that a lot of the times it's not reliable, and even if it is reliable, you can't control it 100% of the time, if that makes any sense. So when these things happen to me, I really don't hold on to them. I just allow things to be what they are, and what is supposed to be revealed to me, whether it be information about a person, and now an animal communicating to me, like whatever I'm supposed to know, I'll know it. I don't need to try and control this ability or heighten it or to try to do anything, because it will flower on its own. And this is kind of why I would never make these types of gifts or try to turn these types of gifts into a business. The only reason why I was doing spiritual consultations 2 summers ago was because I had added it onto the consultation feature of customizing crystal jewelry. Despite having literally 100% accuracy with all of my readings, I will still never call myself making a business out of spiritual anything, consulting, energy readings, tarot card readings, any of that. And I don't knock anybody that is doing it. That's awesome. It's great. I'm always very happy to see people using their gifts here and doing what they feel called to do. I just don't feel called to do that. But I also don't knock anybody who is doing it, because we need these kind of people. You know what I'm saying? Especially the ones who are doing the real work and not taking advantage of people. You understand? And I have a few friends on my timeline that are they're clear channels. They really care about people. They give accurate readings, and they're doing the damn thing. So I love seeing it. So I'm gonna go look at some of these comments right now and see who came. Michelle, maybe the birds were a representation of your spirit. Maybe you're feeling caged. You know what's so funny, Michelle? I wanted to believe that also, but I knew that it wasn't my voice. The thing is, like, over a time of being so isolated, I've been able to decipher my mental chatter from my intuition and the psychic or ESP, meaning reading people's thoughts. So there is like 3 different things going on that if you don't reach a level of mastery with your mind, it will be all jumbled. And this is why people are confused, and this is why people they don't understand what intuition is or ESP is, because they haven't had the time to be alone to break apart those 3 things. I'm at a place where all those 3 voices are completely different voices. I no longer confuse my ego mind with my intuition or my psychic abilities. Those are 3 totally separate tiers that have starkly different communication. Like, it's completely different. And it's not something that can be verbally explained. It's something that has to be experienced by the experiencer. So I totally understand what you're saying. But now, because I know the difference between these voices and also got confirmation of the birds flying out of the room. My friend said they have never in years that she has had them flown out of that room. So even if it was me communicating to them to fly out of the cage, or them communicating to me, the point is those channels are open. But I know it was them communicating to me that they were going to leave. They were trying to find a way to get out of that apartment. They was flying upstairs, downstairs. They was looking for a way. If there was a window open, they would have been out of there. So let me scroll up and see. Hey, you guys. Michelle said, it's hard, it's so much sun. Do you have... I'm trying to see your question. Do you have people come up to you and start talking to you like their entire life story? Yes, I do. And Michelle, you're right, the awakening is happening. I'm connecting with animals now too. So it's like it used to be with animals and humans. Oh, Michelle Murray, I'm so glad we finally found each other. Hey, Leonard, thanks for coming. Hey, D. Lee, thanks for coming. Michelle said maybe the birds were. Yeah, I actually feel like I have a deep connection with birds. Hey, Katie Aboo. Hey, Terry Brown. Hey, Shelby. Hey, Ossie Turner. Hey, Dershay girl. So, I want to say something to Michelle about my connection with the birds. Now, I was sitting at a bus stop one time, a crowded bus stop at that. And now, if this was a pigeon, because you know pigeons are ghetto as hell, I wouldn't have thought nothing of it, because pigeons, sometimes you got to kick their ass out of your way. But it was like one of those, I can't find one of the birds here that I'm, usually when I come out here to sit down, they're here. But I was sitting at a crowded bus stop, and one of these little brown, colorful looking birds, it was like black with like a bluish and purple wings on its anyway, I'm at a bus stop sitting down minding my fucking business, and this bird comes and flies, stands, walks up to me and starts hitting my shoe like, excuse me, and then looks up at me. I was like, hello, what you like, hello, like, what do you want? Yo, everybody at the fucking bus stop was like, what the hell? I was like, yo, what the hell this bird want from me? It was like, hey, like, you don't recognize me type shit. You know how a person comes up and hits you and look at you like, you don't recognize me? That literally was the vibe the bird was giving me, like, hello? Like, you really ain't gonna say nothing to me type shit. And then he just hopped off and left. I was like, what in the hell what is this? A white pigeon came into my living room one time. No, my dining room one time. And so I've had these experiences with like, wow, now that I'm beginning to think about it. Hey, Krishan. This video is wild, y'all. Y'all go back and listen. Y'all gonna be like, this girl, check her in. Okay. Michelle says, I have people I have never met come and talk to me. Yeah, girl, I know. When I first started playing your video, there was birds chirping. I know, they out here. It's actually something that helps me feel very relaxed. But I want to know if any of you have ever had these type of like extrasensory perceptions. You have to listen to it. Like, I just made a post just now, go look at it, about me having a trip to Orlando this coming weekend. And this trip was scheduled for weeks already. I think they scheduled it in like January. And I remember just feeling so off about it. Like, it ain't gonna happen, or like, just my whole being was like, cancel this shit. Cancel it. Like, why you even playing? Like, cancel it. And I'm just sitting here like, Nirvana, are you going crazy? Like, what do you mean cancel this fucking trip? Like, somebody literally paid for you to go somewhere, and you going to cancel it. You going to have to pay somebody back. Like, but my intuition just kept saying, no, do not go on this trip. And then it got to the point where it was like, yo, this trip ain't even going to happen. And I'm sitting here like, yo, I'm losing it for real. Then I heard my mother from the other side, may she rest in power, basically come to me like a week and a half ago. And she was just like, all right, go ahead, go. Do what you want. My mother used to have this way of like, she would catch an attitude with me whenever she was trying to tell me something and I'm like still doing what I want. She would just be like, okay, whatever, go ahead then, go, do it, whatever, bye. And so I basically heard her telling me like, all right, go on this trip, go ahead, go, all right, whatever, go. And that's when I was just like, okay, no, cancel this shit. I told him, yo, cancel this motherfucking trip. Hey, Jessica, you know my mother used to be mad psychic. My cousin is in the chat right now. She will literally verify. Remember what happened at your mother's wedding party? Her mother had a game where she was asking the audience questions. Very deeply, extremely deep as personal questions that literally not even her own family and daughter would probably even know because they was that personal. I got every single last question correct. Jessica, if I'm lying, Jessica Williamson, if I'm lying, yo, tell these people I'm lying. I got every single last true or false question or whatever question. She was asking like how many years her man been together, like very detailed questions, and I don't know her personal background like that at all. So this is what I mean by like these abilities are real, but they're not going to be reliable when you want them to, meaning you're not going to be able to control it. It's something that you have to allow to unfold. It's not something that you should force your ego onto, like force your actual self and ego onto it for some type of praise or for some kind of other agenda, because that's when you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble. Jessica, I'm waiting for you to confirm that I answered all of those questions at your mother's wedding correctly, and people was looking at me like I was a fucking ghost. Like, what the fuck? Even your mother was gagging. She was like, nah, son, nah, chill. Get this girl away from me. She know all my business. Hey, Victoria. Thank you guys for coming so much. I appreciate it. Quashawn Harris, how you doing, hon? You sound like you from New York, your accent, you and your natural element out there. Yeah, I need to find nature because my ass, I need to be grounded. That's my problem. That's a part of why I get so stressed out. I need to be grounded around trees and nature. I need to have this grounding. You understand what I'm saying? Hey, beautiful doll. Hey, Victoria. Quashawn says, on facts, you have abilities. I have one power I use a lot myself to change up my look to a darker look, but still be more positive though. Yeah, our darkness is not bad. That's the thing. A lot of people feel like darkness or dark magic or dark whatever. It's just the opposite end of the spectrum of what we got going on here. That's it. There is no bad or good. It's just light and dark. That's it. Everything comes from the dark. So how can that be bad? That's source. So anyway, we about to get into a whole other metaphysical conversation. Kushan said, yeah, nature makes you feel open. Yeah. I definitely try to grind. I feel like doing a lot of that, being alone, is what, like I said, has helped me hone a lot of this just intuitive, being in tune with self. Because at the end of the day, all these abilities is just coming from shit that should be innate to most people. But these things are being muted by like cell phone devices, or it's being muted by all the other unnatural frequencies that we have to battle, especially in cities. And I can feel the difference. Like when I leave the city, I feel the difference. I feel it. I feel the release and the relief from all of the like artificial energy that I'm surrounded by. I feel more clear. I feel more well rested. So, if y'all have any questions about this, you said facts, light and dark, from darkness comes to light. Yeah. Maybe we should play a little game if you want. You can ask me anything you want and I guess I'll answer it. Quashan said, I agree, technology is messing us up. It is. But we'll be all right. We'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? We'll be all right. I'm just trying my best to stay grounded and just accept that this life is not what we think it is. We have a lot of innate abilities and things that's going to begin waking up. My butt is starting to hurt. I'm sitting on this rock. I'm going to have to go. My butt is hurting, but I'm going to take my walk and I'm going to do a really nice meditation and do what I know helps me feel better. And I hope that you are all doing what makes you feel better, because we are going to be going through some extremely dark times that are necessary, though. These times are necessary. It's not going to be fun. If you want to view any of my videos on my YouTube channel about, I made a video called 2020 Reset last spring. And it was about all the changes and things that we were going to be going through this year. I'm not a prophecy person. I don't be into all these different kinds of prophecies people are here talking about. I'm only always speaking from my own intuition. So you will always should expect that from me. I don't do Google spirituality. Anything I'm saying on my social media or my videos is from me. It's from my all-knowing intelligence. It's from my own intuition. Not what a Bible said, not what that person on YouTube that got 1 million followers said, not what anybody said. Okay? It's coming from my own personal experience of this life. And you should always check in with yourself first about how you feel about something before you go seeking out how other people feel about it. Hey, my love. Oh, it's so good to see you. Hey, Kirk Morris. So this was a very interesting video, and I'm grateful for those of you that came in and checked on me during this time. I just felt, usually when I'm going through an extremely difficult time, I find reaching out to friends or sharing my experience of this life is helpful, because then I find other people that are going through the same things, and it's helpful. How you doing? Oh, y'all are missing. Y'all missed it. So just come back and rewind and watch the video. If there are no questions or any more comments, I'll go. So I'm gonna scroll up and see if I missed anybody. I'm seeing people with their pets. It's so cute. Aww. Thank you guys for coming. I'm just looking to see if I missed any comments. All right. Bye, and stay positive.